welcome to Radio Zindagi. मैं हूं आपके साथ में ईरा and welcome to this brand new show Confessions of the Futurist with Sanjiv Goyal. We are live on Radio Zindagi 1170 AM and also on Radio Zindagi Facebook page. You can view this conversation over there. Log on to Facebook, go to Radio Zindagi page and watch this conversation over there and let us know what you think. You can also leave your questions and comments in the comments section. Speaking about Sanjeev, well, let me give you a little brief about him. Sanjiv Goyal, he is a very, very well-known name in the industry. He is an inspiration. He's a futurist, an angel investor, and a Silicon Valley entrepreneur. His entrepreneurial record features 8 companies in tech, education, digital marketing, real estate, and venture capital. As an innovator, he has pioneered many creative solutions. He has leveraged smart technologies to solve real-world problems. And he understands that the solutions to our future challenges are waiting to be discovered right now through collaboration and ingenuity. Sanjeev is a regular speaker at events and conferences on 6 continents about the future of technology, and he was also the Pan IIT Conference Chair in 2020. He also focuses his time on his philanthropic efforts on children's education and is on the board of several nonprofit organizations, including the Coral Tree Education Foundation, Pratham USA, and the World Women Foundation. And we are so proud and delighted that he has started this show, his own show, with us on Radio Zindagi to inspire our listeners and viewers and friends in the Bay Area. Sanjeev, welcome to the show. Thank you, to get started with this. Thank you for, doing this show and bringing such prominent personalities to the platform.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you very much. I'm so glad. Thank you very much for inviting me and having me start this show. So without further delay, I want to talk about our guest we have today. Naveen Jain, CEO of Viome. He doesn't need any introduction. Phenomenal friend and human being. And I call him a maverick. Mm-hmm. And, there are some people are crazy, but some people are crazy good. So Naveen is one of those. And he built an amazing, successful company, actually several of those. But the biggest reason I invited him is his latest startup, Viome. What he's trying to do he's going to make illness optional. So let's talk to him. Let's bring Naveen and ask him what that means, because I'm still confused with illness optional mindset. So Naveen, can you tell our audience what that means?
Well, first of all, Sanjeev, before I start, I just want to thank you for starting this amazing show. And I really hope this becomes a place where we all gather together to impart our wisdom and at the same time learn from each other. So I think this is going to be one amazing show, and I'm looking forward to continuing to watch it. And thankfully, I'm glad to be contributing here. Now, the idea of making illness optional is really simple. I mean, less than 20% of the diseases are something that are actually built into our DNA. And 80% of everything that we suffer from actually comes from our lifestyle. So if you think about it, you're not born to be obese. You're not born to have diabetes or heart attack or autoimmune diseases or depression or anxiety or cancers. Like all of these things are actually not only preventable, but also reversible. And that was the fundamental belief, was that our DNA or our genes are not our destiny. Our genes don't define who we are. And somehow we have been led to believe that you are born to be a person that you are. Your genes are your destiny. What it turns out is your genes are not your destiny. Your gene expression controls who you become, and your gene expression actually can be modulated with a proper diet and nutrition. And we're going to talk about it in a second. All these things I'm telling you, you're going to find things, oh my God, that's such an innovative idea. And without forgetting that this is something we knew thousands of years ago, right? That we had this, now we talk about the gut microbiome as if that, suddenly we have the science, we invented this gut microbiome. 2,500 years ago, Hippocrates said, all diseases begin in the gut, right? Let food be thy medicine, let thy medicine be the food. And we always knew that one man's food is another man's poison. And suddenly now we talk about making illness optional as if something new we have invented. The fact is the humanity has been making illness optional by actually eating the herbs and the things from our own past. I mean, if you go back and look at Ayurveda, there is tremendous amount of knowledge about Ayurvedic medicine. And people have been taking these herbs and stuff, curcumin, that's part of the Indian culture. It is something that we know. What happens when you take curcumin? We actually are making illness optional. That means we are taking action that takes away the disease from happening. And that's really what I meant was, so just to restart on this thing, we didn't say, Viome, we want to build a company that eliminates chronic diseases. Because we could have said, Viome, our mission is to create a world where disease is eliminated. We didn't say that, because that shows we have the power to do so. By saying, Viome, imagine living in a world where illness is optional. What that means is we can tell you what's happening in your body. We can tell you what foods you should eat and why. We can tell you what foods you should avoid and why. What are the nutrients that your body is lacking? And we can make those specific ingredients in a specific dosage for you. And choice is yours. You can say, I'm sorry, you're telling me to avoid bell pepper or spinach. I am sorry, I'm going to eat them. That is say illness is optional.
Well, you have my data. I read that report and it's a phenomenal report. I love it. So Naveen, I specifically picked the title of the show for a very special purpose. A lot of time when we bring guests, and I brought a lot of phenomenal guests in past, we talked about how they become so big, how they are so amazing, but we never talked about their failures. And Silicon Valley, not many people know outside Silicon Valley, we are built on failures, not on successes, which people don't realize how many failures successful entrepreneurs have and how they got here. So question I have for you is, can you share or can you confess when you were wrong?
Well, remember, it is I think we need to redefine what success is, and we need to redefine what failure is. An idea that you have may or may not work. And every idea that does not work is simply a stepping stone to a different idea and a bigger idea. You only fail in life when you give up. Everything else is just a pivot, right? So we pivot. And one thing I realized, having done now 7 companies, the life of an entrepreneur is no different than just being alive. How do we know when you are alive? Is when we have a heartbeat. And most people forget what heartbeat looks like. It goes up and down and up and down, right? When you have a smooth line, you are dead. And why do you believe an entrepreneur would ever have a smooth life? Because that means you're living a dead life. So if you want to live a dead life of a dead person, you want a smooth life. If you want to live a life of an adventure, if you want to live a life that is going to be meaningful, if you want to live a life that is going to fundamentally change the trajectory of billions of people, how they live, it's going to have a life, and that life is going to be up and down. And when you are down, all you have to do is hunker down and stick together, knowing that next beat is going to be up. And when you are on top of that beat, never get too cocky, because always remember, winter is coming and winter shall come and you will go down. And that's the point we have to always remember, is that life is full of up and downs. You have to accept them and you have to expect them. And that is the beauty, is expecting it is going to happen and accepting when it happens. And that to me is really living life.
So I have an interesting question for you, because I remember that. Yeah. When we met first time, we started talking about InfoSpace. And we talked about the first company which became multi-billion-dollar company, and that technically made Naveen Jain. I remember that story of how the business model was born. So can you share the story when the business model was born of InfoSpace?
Well, honestly, every single company, it's not, and again, to me, what's really interesting is every entrepreneur, lot of the time, the business models are born out of simply trying many things, and a lot of the times out of sheer desperation of doing something, right? Because you know nothing is working and you try everything and see what will stick. In the early days of the internet, there was no business model. Nobody understood how companies are going to make money. And you had these search engines, I mean, Lycos and Excite. You go there and you type and you find information. And the better they were, the faster you left the site. And they were thinking, like, how can you build a company the minute it gets better, the faster you leave? Until people figured out they can start to put more content. And that came out of simple desperation of not trying to how to make money. Then people figured out they can put ads on top of the search engines. And that in the beginning, I can remember still, people say, oh my God, if you put on the ads on top of the search engine, isn't that corrupting the beauty and the idea of how beautiful this search engine is that finds you the right website rather than people who are paying you for it, right? And all these things came about because sheer desperation of trying to find it. And I think every company goes through that. I mean, in fact, I would say that every single successful company you look at today have gone through a near-death experience, right? Look at Facebook. Facebook went through a near-death experience.
Several
Twitter,
times.
in fact, several times. Twitter went down before they pivoted to become Twitter, right? Now, if you look at Amazon, literally the stock was down to under $5. People thought the company was going to go bankrupt and became the most valuable company in the world, right? You look at Oracle, you look at Microsoft. I mean, every company has gone through these ups and downs, and in fact, this near-death experience, right? And to me, that is really where I would say you want to talk about entrepreneurship, is to be able to embrace that and know this is going to happen. And the other side of the hill is going to be where all the greenery and the grass is. So when entrepreneurs say grass is always greener on the other side, it is the hill they don't see. In fact, on the other side of the hill, they don't even know what is there, but they have this great idea that they actually are going to get across the thing on the top of the hill, and they're going to see this marvelous greenery. And sometimes you go there and it's nothing but a barren desert, and then you pivot right back here and look at the difference.
So Naveen, it's a short show, so I wanted to definitely provide a little more value to our audience.
Yeah.
So I'm working on this book. Actually, it'll be it's already it's ready to be published. And I talked about 7 layers to be successful as an entrepreneur and what makes an entrepreneur a meta entrepreneur. And I stress a lot about 2 specific things. One is curiosity. Second is faith. So question I have for you is, what role faith has played in your life, and what message do you have for our audience so when they go home, they take something with them?
Sure. So I would change that. And again, I would say it is really the mindset, a mindset instead of a faith that really plays the biggest role in what you become in life. And the mindset is that 2 people can look at the identical things that are happening, identical event, and come up with a completely new outcome of what that means to them. One person will look at that event and say, oh my God, the life is ending. Other person say, what an amazing opportunity just got created, right? And that is literally the mindset that happens. And I think the mindset comes in many different ways. Mindset is this idea of things are scarce. And I think, someday we should talk about the mindset of scarcity that actually limits you to what you can do versus creating this mindset of abundance where everything is possible. So once you create this mindset of possibilities, mindset of what can happen, mindset of what if and imagine are 2 most powerful words if you can use them the right way. Imagine a world, and now I can tell you whatever that is, your mind is so open to listening to the possibility. So if I say, Sanjiv, imagine a world, now I can say, imagine a world where illness is optional. Imagine a world where no old person is dying. Imagine a world where your grandmother is still alive. Imagine a world where your uncle did not lose their memory. Imagine a world where your loved one didn't die from cancer. All that thing, now people say, oh my God, how do I create that world? And the more vividly you can describe that world, the easier it becomes to create it.
Absolutely.
What if is the another thing that you should remember in a mindset is, people say it can't be done. And if you say, what if it was possible?
It can
what
be done.
if It can be done. Then what? Then you have to start thinking, oh my God, that life is something we can build, right? So point is that mindset, once you create, it comes with a very different, that means don't look at the world what is, look at the world what it can be. And I think COVID is a great example. Many people look at COVID as a disaster for humanity. And I know I don't want to say this, that in 10 years from now, when you look at this event that's happening today, we're going to probably find it was the best thing that could have possibly happened for humanity. It has changed many things that would not have happened. It advanced healthcare by 10 years. The telehealth would not have happened for 10 years. The idea of people taking control of their own health and wanting to be healthy would not have happened for many generations. People really believing that they actually can now eat healthier and actually not be sick would not have happened for another generation. So my point is, many good things are going to come out of it. The future of work, where you can work remotely, the future of many things, the way we look at life is going to fundamentally change. And if I can bring this another concept here, so first of all, so that's mindset, and it plays the biggest role in the thing. The
Absolutely.
second thing you talked, and the second thing you talked about was in curiosity. So to me, the curiosity is the one of, if you ask me, one is the most rare element on planet Earth, I would say intellectual curiosity. Intellectual curiosity is the most rare element on earth, but once you develop the intellectual curiosity, there is no problem that can't be solved. And if I can leave with one thought, if there is only one thing you teach your children, is about being curious. If that's all you did, you would have created these children who are going to fundamentally change the trajectory of how humanity is going to live. Creating the intellectual curiosity amongst your children is probably the best thing. And to redefine success, I would say success should be defined not by how much money you have in the bank, but how many lives can you improve in your lifetime. And if you use that as a measure of success, then you know you're working towards something, a purpose, a life. And to me, what really most interesting thing is doing good and doing well actually can happen together. That means the only way to create a large sustainable enterprise is to focus on helping 1 billion people live a better life. If you can help 1 billion people today, you can create $100 billion company. But if you set out to create $100 billion company, you're very likely to fail. And that is the beauty, is stay focused on making your customer the best life they can live, become part of their life, improve their life. And that's how you create a large sustainable company.
Absolutely, completely agree. And we talked in our previous conversation specifically about impact, because once we focus on impact of what we are trying to do or what an entrepreneur is trying to do, and entrepreneurship, we both know, is not about going and creating $1 billion company. To me, entrepreneurship is just taking ownership. You may be doing whatever role you are doing in your own organization, or in your businesses, or in your home even. Are you taking accountability?
And more than accountability, actually, I mean, Sanjiv, don't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah,
Entrepreneurship is about solving a problem. Entrepreneurs are problem solvers, right? So a lot of people in the world are, here is the problem. Why can't someone do something about it? In India, it's very common. Why can't someone do something about it? That's the problem. Every human being can do that. And there are some visionaries who say, this is how you solve the problem, but they don't do anything about it. They come up with a solution. Every taxi driver will tell you a solution to every problem, right? And the entrepreneurs are this specific breed. They actually go out and do it. So problem solvers, people who go out and actually do something, are true entrepreneurs. And to me, you can be an entrepreneur, whatever you do in your life, whether you're inside the company, whether anything else, you can be that entrepreneur.
So I completely agree with you, because I find it as it's a misnomer that, oh, I have to do $1 billion company before I can qualify to be an entrepreneur. What I find it is there are phenomenal entrepreneurs in organizations like Cisco, organizations like VMware. There are brilliant people, and a lot of our friends are working and helping build this better future for all of us. The kind of connectivity we have, and since you talk about COVID-19, we both understand, and the world is seeing it. Yes, it is bad. Yes, what happened is terrible. And yes, I I mean, I personally, my heart goes out to the people who are suffering and who has suffered because of COVID, especially a lot of businesses. However, if we look back, just imagine something like that happening 30 years ago. Our world would have collapsed because of the technology, because of the entrepreneurs, because of every single person united together. Our banking system didn't fail, our electricity system didn't fail, our infrastructure didn't fail. We continue to work, continue to do something. And that is the biggest reason I believe we came out of this, and we are going to come out of it very, very quickly. So when we talk about entrepreneurship,
strongly.
Yeah, strongly.
Strongly. I mean, I honestly think like
they're fixing problems.
That's my point. My point, we grew 3x during this time. We launched 3 new products during this time because it allowed us to rethink what is possible. It allowed us to see the amount of broken infrastructure the healthcare has. And we thought, if healthcare is this broken, why can't we go out and completely fix it, so where we can bring the future of healthcare should be at home, not at the hospital. The future of medicine should be coming from farm, not pharmacy. And
exactly.
To me, right, and that's literally at Viome, we really believe not only we can make illness optional, we can actually deliver on that promise by actually giving you the actionable thing today. So if anyone who is listening to it, they should really go out and see what is possible. So go out at Viome.
I mean, not just that. Let's talk about it a little bit. Yeah. Today, I haven't seen any event like what happened in last 12 months, that countries, private organizations, institutions, investors, every single person join hands. Even the competitors are building the vaccines together. They're sharing the data. And this is what we used to talk about. Oh, we are going to have a connected world. This is the first time I never thought I will witness this kind of connection where I can pick up the phone today and I can call India's PMO office and I say, hey, I want a connection with the scientific advisor, principal scientific advisor. I need him to advise me on this. Absolutely no problem. And that kind of collaboration never ever happened. And COVID has created that infrastructure for us. So today, we all can do things at the global scale. And the things you used to talk about, impacting billion lives, which become my own slogan, like if anything we are doing, let's talk about impacting billion lives. How can we do that? We have the infrastructure. All the 23 IITs are ready to join hands. Anybody who wants to work with us, we are open. Whether it is United States, our Karma Bhumi, we are ready to work with every single entrepreneur or wannabe entrepreneur and help him become whatever he wants to do. And that wasn't possible until, even last March. Do you agree with that?
Well, honestly, the technology has always been there. It is just that somehow we got exposed to it now in a way. So it's not like suddenly they got invented. These technologies have been around. And in fact, being in any part of the world now, you have access to the same resources, access to the same financial resources, access to the same people resources where you can go out and make it happen. And I know we're coming towards the end of this, so let's try to wrap this up in a simple message here that anyone who's listening to it can take home. To me, as a dream so big that people think you're crazy, right? And never be afraid to fail, because you only fail when you give up. So always remember that it takes one person. It doesn't require a superpower anymore. It takes a small group of people to achieve things that were done by superpowers, right? So if you look at space, it used to be that Russia and America and China could only go to space. And today you look at it's individual private companies are doing that. And that is where the future is. The entrepreneurs are going to be the next superpowers. One person.
Not next, Naveen, we are the superpower. What are you talking about? We are already superpower.
I'm saying please go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's what we are, superpower. And I completely agree with you on echo everything. But, our show is about to end. So before we end, I want to thank you, Naveen. And I want to tell all our audience. So Naveen, what is your Instagram handle so our audience can follow you?
Honestly, you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on LinkedIn, or you can find me, go to viome.com and you can reach out to me there.
And can they send you messages and ask questions from
Absolutely.
you? Awesome.
Anytime, I'm always available. Send me a direct message on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook. I'll always answer them.
Any final parting thought for our audience?
I just said, just dream big and always know that everything is possible. It takes one single person to change trajectory of how people live. Remember, Elon, one single person changed the things from fossil fuel cars to electrical cars. It is possible. It takes one person, not the rich person. You become rich by doing it. You don't start because you are rich. And I really hope that someone listening to it is going to go out and do something that's going to fundamentally change our lives.
We will do it, Naveen. Thank you very much, Naveen, for your time. I want to thank Radio Zindagi and Royces for this opportunity. I'm so excited, and next week we'll have a phenomenal guest. If you want to follow me, go to Instagram, official Sanjiv G. You can send me the message on LinkedIn and any other place. And I'm going to give a copy of my new book free. So if you send me a message on Instagram, on LinkedIn, the copy will be yours. Thank you. Thanks, Naveen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanjiv.